Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name's Amanda and I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator. I'm going to show you how I've made this beautiful box, and inside this pretty box are 6 note cards. Very basic, you can use them for any occasion. So 6 the same, and also 6 handmade envelopes. So I'm going to show you the full process. It may take me a while, so please bear with me. I have used Floral Boutique DSP, stunning paper. The colours are Whisper White and Night of Navy, and I've paired it up on this one with Night of Navy cardstock. My next project is going to be slightly different because this is all the Night of Navy I've got left. I'm distraught, I need to order some more. So I'm going to do it the same, but I'm just going to use DSP both top and bottom. But I would advise using cardstock, but it's the same measurements. And I'm using this stamp set here, which is Birthday Blooms. I've used it before. I like to use stamp sets more than once to show you different things that you can do with the same set. And I've used this lovely one before, and today I'm going to be using this one and this sentiment here which says for you. So that's what we're using, that is Birthday Blooms. I'm also going to be using the layering ovals. These are not the stitch edge ones, these are just ovals, but you have, you have plain ones and scalloped ones. I've just written numbers on so I know which set's which. And I'm using from set 1 and set 4 here. Okay. I think that's everything that I'm using. Yes, it is. So, and the ink that I'm going to be using is actually Dapper Denim, which is slightly different shade to the Night of Navy, but it's really lovely and it goes really nicely. So, let's get started. Right then, so to create the lid, we need to cut a piece at 6 inch by 6 inch square, which I've already done. So I'm just going to pop that there. And then for the base, you need one slightly larger at 7 inch by 7 inch. Now, as I've said, I am using DSP here, and it's the reverse side, so it's super pretty. It will coordinate because the colours are the same. I would have preferred to use cardstock, but I don't have one that coordinates because I need to buy some more. I keep running out of everything because it's so lovely. I just use it all. I need to start buying 2 of everything. So 7 by 7 on that one. Now, I'm going to get my scoring board out because rather than use the trimmer, because this one is just done in a bit of a special way, which I'm going to explain. So, for the cardstock base, although mine's DSP, which is a 7 by 7, we're scoring it all the way around at 1.5 inches. Okay, so 1.5, turn, 1.5, turn, 1.5, turn, 1.5. Okay, then what you do is you just simply cut along that score line to the centre, like so, and then you turn and you cut again along your score line to where it joins that score line. Then you turn, cut it again, turn, cut it again, and then let me just cut that again because I've not done that terribly straight. Come on. There we go. And then just notch, which just means cutting a small wedge out, just like so, up to your score line. Just so that when you fold your pieces in, it's just neater and tidier. So quickly notch. Bit better than that, Amanda. Quickly notch. Quickly notch. Cut that one straight. Notch that one. Okay. Fold all your lines over. no idea how long this DVD. Have you? I think I'm Peter Kay. It's not a DVD. It's video. Don't know how long it's going to be. You'll just have to bear with me. I'm going to use fuse. There we go. On the outside of where the flaps that I have notched are. Oop. Fuse is the stronger adhesive once you've mastered using it. It is better. A bit more on there. Okay, and then you literally just fold it in. Line up your edges as best as you can. Like so. And press. Once you have done one of these, you'll be able to make a few in a row pretty quick. It's not a difficult design, it's not a difficult style, and you can adjust the size as well to suit yourself. So there's my little base, that's ready. Now, because I want my lid to fit snugly on there and not fall off, one trick I was taught was to have a piece of whatever it is your base is and have it just up against your scoreboard like that, as like a jutting up or shim before you do your scoring. That way you'll end up with a good fit. In practice, let's see if I can get it right. So we're scoring the paper with my little extra bit, push that up against, and we're scoring at 1 inch all the way around. Okay, you need about 10 pairs of hands to do it, but it does work. Okay, 1 inch, turn it, 1 inch, turn it, 1 inch, it's worth persevering with and mastering this technique because it does work, and then your lids don't fall off. So again, we're going to cut a notch, turn, turn, turn. Excuse me. Okay, now I'll notch, notch, notch. Oh, I've got a tickly cough again today. I've been lighting my wood burner and I think it's got on my throat a bit maybe. Just notch that. And notch there. I don't know if you can hear the wind, it's absolutely bonkers, but I think in Australia they've been having terrible storms, so I'm not going to complain. It's just a bit of wind. Notch. And notch. There we go, that's all of that done. So I'm going to fold all my lines over. Like so. And like so. I'll just fold my flaps in as well because I did fold all my flaps in. Okay, and then we are putting the adhesive on the outside of the flap. There we go. Go, and then we're going to carefully just fold all those flaps in and stick them down. Really easy, very easy design. I learnt this box on a team meet. I haven't come up with it myself. I was taught how to do it, and there's the lid. Okay, now that should fit snugly on my box. I think it fits one. There we go. There we go, nice and snug. Nice snug fit all the way around. Okay, so now I'm going to, I think it just fits slightly better one way than the other if I remember rightly. Don't know why that works, but it just does. Yeah, it's that way. It does fit, honestly, I'm not kidding, look. Right, so what I also did was this bow and this sentiment here. So let's move my that out of the way and get ready to create that part. Right then, so how I decorated the lid. I've done my bow off camera, not doing it on camera. One day I'll do a tutorial on how I do my bows, but for now I'm not doing them because they never turn out the same twice, and I sometimes get myself tied in quite a bit of a, I'm just not very good at it. Let me just, and I faff about with them because they don't look perfect, and I get myself all in a dither. Right, so we've got the lid here. I'm just going to do my stamping for the lid so that it can be drying, and I'm using this one, which just simply says for you, and I'm using Dapper Denim. So I'm just going to gently I have cut out a oval from the stitch edge frames. So I have used quite a few different die sets. You don't have to, you can cut them into squares by hand or use whatever shape you've got. You know, I'm just having a bit of a, I've just had a bit of a play with this set. And the original one that I made is actually going. Is that straight enough for me? Let me try again and then I'll decide which one I like the best. The original set that I made is going as a teacher gift for my little girl's teacher at school. That's more straight, I'll have that one. We'll reject that one and we'll have this one. I'm going to close my Dapper Denim. I do find that that ink is very, very juicy and you do have to wait for it to dry. I'm just going to add a basic rhinestone to the sentiment, and then I'm just going to set that to one side out of my way so I don't smudge it to dry, and I'll show you what I did with the ribbon. So I'm using the ribbon organza, it's Whisper White, and I just want it, I mean you can have it however you want, but I just had it sort of like that. So I just eyeballed where I wanted it roughly, and then you just tuck it in there. And I just added a little bit of, so I want it about there, a little bit of fuse. Tucked it about there. And then just drape it across your box, however you want it. I'm just going to add, just eyeballing it, holding it with my thumb. I want to put just a little bit of adhesive round about there, just to help me keep it straight on my box where I want it. It's just tacking it down really, it just helps. Okay, if you just tack it down slightly, then guesstimate where your ribbon needs to be to, trim it off. Move that out of the way. Again, I've used fast fuse. You can use wet glue or whatever you want, and just tuck that in. So that's like that. Now, if you're clever, you can do your bow all in one go, all in one piece. As I say, I get too stressed if things aren't, shall we say, perfect. And so I do my bow separate. And again, a little bit of fast fuse or a glue dot or whatever, just add your bow. See how that's bent in a little bit? There we go, just poofed it out a bit. Then I'm going to get my sentiment carefully so it doesn't smudge, because there's nothing worse. You get it all nice and it looks fantastic and then you smudge it and it's annoying. And these darker colours do seem to be quite juicy, so you do have to be careful. There we go, I've managed it without it smudging, and then I've just tucked it in there. It is slightly different from my other box. I think my bow's lower down, but that's the thing with handmade things. You can have your measurements and you never get two exactly the same, do you? They're always a little bit different, but I think that's the nice thing about it. So that's the lid. So now I'm going to show you how I made my gift cards to go inside. So I'm going to pause, get my stuff together and come back. Okay, so we're creating this card here. It is a... is it 3? I've forgotten what size it is. Oh no, where's my ruler? Okay, so I'm going to show you how to create this little note card. Apologies for my spluttering. And it is 3.5 by 3.5, this note card. So I've cut my card base at 7 by 3.5, scored in the middle at 3.5, and you just fold like so. And then I've cut myself a small piece of DSP, which is 3.25 by 3.25, so it just layers nicely with a 1/4 inch increment. And we're just going to quickly put that on. And you can do this obviously with any paper line. You can make it to fit anything you want, but it's a nice project to do. So if you can follow, pause and go back, I will put all the measurements etc on my blog, along with and leave a link below as well, and links to my shop if you fancy buying anything that you see. Right, so I've pre-cut to save time some of the scalloped ovals that I showed you earlier, and I've used 2 different sizes. Now although it's white, and you'd think, well, why are you layering white on white? I just really like the pattern that it gives, and just that little bit of extra interest of it being layered, even though I'm not putting it on dots, pop dots. I just like it. So I'm going to stamp my flower, and I'm using just a singular flower out of the birthday blooms. It's this one, and hopefully it's going to just stamp really nicely and not smudge. I'm not too worried if it's not completely central. The flower's kind of at an angle anyway, so it's alright. That's done, so we'll just leave that there to dry a minute, and then I'm going to do the sentiment, which is for you. So I've got a piece of scrap. I'm just going to bring my ink pad back in again, and I'm going to just stamp on a piece of scrap white, whisper white cardstock, that sentiment there, and I'm going to cut it out by hand very carefully so it doesn't smudge. So I'm just going as close as I can to the lettering, and I'm just going to try and get it as straight as I can. You can always go and trim a bit more off if it's not quite. Let me get rid of that. If it's not quite right, I'm not too concerned because it's quite a small sentiment, so it'll be forgiving if it's not 100% straight. That'll do for me. Just need that to dry. Ooh. Come on, dry. Put that there carefully. I'm going to use snail. Pick it up. See, it's still a little bit wet, so you do have to be really careful. And I'm going to layer it on a piece of DSP that's already cut straight. I know that those edges are straight, so it'll help me line it up. Push it down very gently because I don't want it to smudge. And then again, I'm just going to very carefully, by hand and by eye, just cut a small border there. Just helps it stand out that right little bit. Okay, I'm getting better at that. I think practice makes perfect and all of that nonsense. I'll just move that to one side while I put these together. And all I'm doing with this one is I'm going to just run a strip of fast fuse. Just the one, you don't need to overdo it with your adhesive. You don't need a lot, goes a long way. Just line that up there like that. Carefully again, because that ink is still quite wet. And just use my fast fuse again. And then use it to pick it up so I don't smudge it. And then I'm just putting this on the edge there. Again, when you're pressing down, if you've just inked, just be mindful, don't start pressing it down with your hand, you'll smudge your ink. So I'm going to get my sentiment here. And I'm going to, again with Fast Fuse, who's being very, very well behaved today, is Fast Fuse for me, which is unusual. I'm just going to add my sentiment there. And then I'm going to add a rhinestone. Like so. And that's that done. Now I will show you very quickly how to make an envelope to go with it using the envelope punch board. Right, so because our cards are 3.5 by 3.5, we can look down the measurements on the envelope punch board, and it tells us that our size of paper needs to be 6 by 6. I've actually chosen a lightweight cardstock here. It's not a Stampin' Up one, it's an El Cheapo one that I've picked up somewhere that I'm just using up basically. But you can use any kind of paper. I mean, you can use the DSP and make envelopes out of leftover DSP. You can use copier paper if you want to improvise, you know, printer paper. It's only an envelope, it's only going in bin, isn't it? So we print it up to the 3-inch mark. Punch. Get my scar tool out. And score, and then turn it, and then you're going on following your lines where you've scored from now on. All the way around. These are super easy. And you know, if you've got paper lying about that you don't use, turn it into envelopes, get it used up, and then you punch all the corners to round them. It just makes it look neater. It's not essential, but I do think it gives just sometimes just going that extra with things makes a difference, doesn't it? If you can just be bothered to make that bit of extra time. And then we're going to fold all of those score lines over without chucking it to the other side of the room. I need like some kind of non-slip mat for underneath here, I think. That's what I need to look for. And then when you're doing these, if you look, I always do them the same way. I always go left to right and then up. Now if you look, there's a bit of a, it's not quite right. That's telling me it's the wrong way. So left to right and up, and now that it goes over right, and there's no, you can't see this flap underneath. I know what I mean, and when you're trying it, you'll know what I mean as well. I'm going to use red line tape to hold this together because it's nice and strong. You don't want it falling to pieces. Especially like, you know, if you're making it as a gift. Or, I mean, you can sell these. You can make these to sell on a craft stall or whatever, made to order, or you know, like I'm doing them, teacher gifts, can't go wrong. So that on there like that, and I don't know what that is there. Let's get this tape off. Oh, I've got some manky there. Get off. Don't know what that is. Don't like it. Get off. We've got a flaw. Not happy. Get off. Got it. I've got it. You won't see it when it's stuck down. I'm a bit fussy, aren't I? Right, so fold it up like so, and then if you want to just go that extra mile, we'll just have a little bit of tear tape, and then whoever receives it can stick them down if they want. You know, the option's there for them then, isn't it? You go to the effort to make a nice card and an envelope, then you want to make sure they can use it properly. And there's your card and your envelope to go inside your lovely box. All done, all nice, all fits. And we're done. There you go. If you have the patience to follow that all the way through, you'll end up with the same results, ladies, and it's very, very pretty paper. I would strongly suggest buying it, and the colour is Night of Navy. And on the stamp, I've used Dapper Denim. Beautiful, beautiful colours. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you followed along. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.